Hello and welcome back for another awesome episode of the FIT40 Podcast. We're going to keep the theme of last time, and I'm just going to keep rattling off topics that have come up during the week because I figured, hey, if clients are asking, if people on strategy calls are asking these questions, you guys probably care too. So it's definitely better than anything I think you know. I know that you know that I think you know. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about electrolytes, stress, and the scale not budging. So the first one comes from a exit call that I just did from the FIT40 boot camp. And somebody was just curious, like, hey, what's the deal with electrolytes? Like, what exactly, like, should I be taking them? Should I not? So let's just give a whole rundown of exactly what electrolytes are. So if you guys are not familiar, when it comes to electrolytes, there's four big ones that we focus on, which are calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium. But there's also phosphate and bicarbonate. But when we talk electrolytes, most times it's those initial big four because many people are deficient in things like magnesium, potassium, and calcium. And on average, when it comes to sodium, we're eating or consuming or drinking too much sodium because on average, at least in America, people are consuming 3,400 milligrams daily when the recommended daily allowance is 2,300. So 3,400, 2,300, no bueno. Okay. That is why things like high blood pressure can be, or blood pressure can be increased to the point where it can result in chronic high blood pressure. So that when it comes to electrolytes as a whole, they're important. Like they really do a lot in our body. Like they have a very big role to play when it comes to processes in our body, and we really can't function without them. So when it comes to magnesium, how do you get more? Now, if anybody here hears, all right, how do I make this better? How do I improve this? And the first thought is, what supplement do I need to take? You're in the wrong place because I'm not anti-supplement, but at the end of the day, supplements never beat the real thing because when you do get it from whole food sources or else or other really, really good sources, you get a lot of other benefits along with it. You don't just get that isolated compound, you get a bunch of other benefits as well. So it's like, why not take the one that has more benefits rather than the one that has less and costs more? So when it comes to magnesium, when it comes to food, some of the best sources you can get magnesium from are almonds, dark chocolate. I know some people are happy about that one. Okay. Leafy greens, whole grains, and avocado. Now, there's more, but I'm just giving you like the top ones that most people would enjoy eating. Okay. Next is calcium. When it comes to calcium, obviously we think dairy, but along with that, there are certain foods that are fortified with it. Like there are certain foods out there that are fortified with certain nutrients that we are low in intentionally because of this, because we are deficient in them. So it's like, okay, let's make it easy on people. Let's just put it in food. So take advantage of that. Okay. Next is soy, nuts and seeds, leafy greens, and salmon. That's 2 for 2 on the leafy greens, by the way. Just saying, you should get them in your diet some way or another. Okay, and then third is potassium. So fruits, veggies, dairy, meat, and fish are really good. Obviously, like bananas, but like other fruits have them too. And just pretty much, if you have a solid diet, you're probably going to be in a really good spot when it comes to this stuff. Now, how to get less sodium. Okay. First off, you want to check the labels before buying anything because if something is packaged, that doesn't automatically mean it has a ton of sodium, but it has a higher likelihood that it does. But processed foods can be very convenient and very cost effective for many, many people. So do we just say, screw you, buy organic, break the bank, go bankrupt? No, just check the labels, see the ones that have less. And then there's also a method that you could do, which is just rinsing your foods. Because when it comes to like canned foods in particular, they do have a lot of sodium. But say you get canned beans or something, you can rinse those beans and they will decrease in sodium content. So you can get stuff that does have a label that says there's a ton of sodium, but reduce it by a ton by using other methods. Another thing you could do is ideally cook more at home using seasonings other than salt. Now, do we want to avoid salt altogether? No, but use a pinch, not dump a ton or use a bunch of other packaged ingredients that are high in sodium like the restaurants use. And then also reduce portion sizes because let's be honest, our sodium for many of us is probably fine. It's just the fact that we're overeating the food that it's in. So it's not really a sodium issue, it's a portion issue. So you can eat these tasty foods, just eat them in the right amounts, and you can have your cake and eat it too. Now, when it comes to the sports and electrolyte drinks, that's the big one. When people think electrolytes, it's like, oh, I got to get my Gatorade, my Powerade, Propel, whatever the heck it is. Or these like LMNT. I'm pretty sure you probably listened to a podcast before this promoting it. When it comes to these things, you should not be consuming them daily if you're not active. Okay. The whole point is to replenish what you're losing. If you're not sweating, if you're not losing the electrolytes from being active or just sweating in general, like if you live in a really warm climate, then you can get all you need from food. Okay. Because sports and electrolyte drinks are like supplements. It should supplement an active lifestyle. It shouldn't just be something that you drink all the time because it tastes good. That's a very, very bad idea because you could potentially, if you drink nothing but these things, put yourself in a bad situation health wise. All right. So, ideally, if you are active, 1 to 2 drinks a day max. Okay, so when we talk about as a whole, when it comes to these electrolytes, the key word here is balance. It's not, sorry guys, they're doing landscaping outside, so I hope that the mic is not catching this. But basically, what we're getting at is balance. The goal is not to get as many electrolytes as possible. More is not better, but also less for certain things and depleting completely is also not better. You want to have the right amounts because when you are at the right amounts, your body will function optimally. If you take in too much sodium, you could go to the hospital. If you completely cut out salt out of your diet completely, that can also wreck you. I had a client back in the day who is very, very intelligent, like way smarter than me. And she was told to cut salt out of her diet because she had high blood pressure. And then she ended up going to the hospital because she had very little salt, if not any, in her diet. She took it to the extreme, and that caused an issue. So, just telling you, there are consequences. It always helps to, in this situation, if you do think you have an electrolyte imbalance or you feel like you need more, first off, go for the food and see if you can get, when it comes to the magnesium, potassium, and geez, calcium, magnesium, potassium. When you can get those three from foods, awesome. And then when you can use those tips to lower your sodium, for most people, that's really good too. But if you do want to take it to that next level, it never hurts consulting with a registered dietitian. That's like literally their jam. And also your primary doctor. Like when it comes to the science behind electrolytes, it's extremely nuanced. It is extremely difficult to understand. And that's why I'm only giving you like the very surface level. And that's why I get pissed off when people try and say that they're like experts on this stuff because they're a brand ambassador for LMNT or some other crap that they're trying to sell you. It, for most people, it's not necessary. It just isn't. And those people that are selling it are making crazy good commissions. Don't get me wrong. Great, great strategy for making money because Athletic Greens and all these other ones, they give like 50% or something commission on these brands, like when somebody buys it. So it's a great way to make money, not great for your health usually. Okay, on to the next thing, stress. So this comes from one of my client. I guess it wasn't a call. It was just really, we were going back and forth in the messenger and we're just talking about it. And she's done really, really well. She's lost a bunch of weight, built a bunch of muscle, feels so much better than when we started, but we're experiencing some issues when it comes to stress. And that is making these self-sabotaging behaviors resurface. This is possibly the number one reason most people struggle with health and fitness in general is because of stress, because of these self-sabotaging behaviors and things like that. Because when it comes to the results from this stress, it causes a lot of people to stress eat or not eat at all. So both usually not good. Okay. And it makes it harder to create this new fit identity, which is essential when you want to keep the weight off. Because if you say, I am this new fit person, but then you keep doing things that are contrary to the point, you're not actually going to believe it and you're not going to embody it. So when it comes to stress overall, it helps to have certain things in place. Like I know in the FIT40 program, we have like a tool belt of really cool, awesome techniques that you can try. But if those don't work, then it probably is time to go to a mental health professional and just seek out help. And honestly, I would probably do that first. On it, like if you are considering jumping on a fitness program or a nutrition program and you struggle with a lot of stress, nail the stress first. Go to somebody who is actually educated in this stuff and say, hey, listen, I got this going on. I just want to learn some strategies on how to cope with that better, to put myself in a better mind space so that I can excel at this next thing that I'm working on. And this can carry over not even to health and fitness, but also like into your job, into your how you're at home with your kids and your family and all this other stuff. So stress is a big one we want to account for. And that's why when you assemble your healthcare team, kind of like your personal Avengers squad, okay, obviously top of that list is primary doctor. You want to make sure that you have somebody, one, that knows their stuff, and two, that you actually trust. Ideally, like this is assuming you can get access to doctors that you could not shop, but just kind of bounce around if you need to and get second opinions and stick with somebody that you really trust, that treats you like a human, that knows their stuff, that doesn't brush you off. That's usually a really, really good tell. And then number two on your team should be that mental health professional, because if you're all squared away as far as all your blood work and all that stuff, next up is upstairs, your mental side of things, because that drives behavior. Okay. And that's going to drive what you eat. That's going to drive how you move or don't move. So once you got that squared away, number three would be or this is interchangeable, 3 and 4. They could be one or the other, but having a registered dietitian and a nutrition coach would be ideal, because registered dietitian is going to tell you, hey, listen, based on your health history, you should probably work on this, and this, but they don't have the capacity to be on tap, like for you to contact every single day or once a week or talk on the phone. And that's where a nutrition coach comes in, because the one thing that we have that these super educated people, these really very intelligent people don't have is time. Because if you were to talk to a doctor or a registered dietitian or a physical therapist, I guarantee you one of their biggest gripes is that they don't get enough time with the patient. So that's where these coaches and personal trainers come in, which brings me to number 4, which is a physical therapist and a personal trainer. The reason I put these two together is because if you have, say, a registered dietitian, it can help you tremendously to keep them in contact and just have some form of communication with your nutrition coach. Because if they're working together, that's a best case scenario for you, because now you are getting the time and the guidance and they're on the same page, which means that you're not getting some quack program on either side. Okay. And then with the physical therapist, if you get somebody who's treating you for like surgery or you had an injury and you're coming off of that, and they can communicate to your personal trainer and say, hey, we've been working on this, and this. If you can keep this in the warm up or have them do this X amount of times a week, that is a winning formula for you as the client, as the patient. So just know that that is one incredible way to set yourself up for success. All right. So that's all I'll say about stress for now. Now we're on to number 3, which is the scale just won't budge. This one comes from one of my clients who we just did our next phase call, which is like a call we do every few months where we just game plan for the next 12 weeks and talk about how the last 12 weeks went. And we talk plenty in between then, but this is like the big, like, okay, let's sit down, let's figure out what our next move is. So basically, she tells me, yeah, I did okay over the summer because we met up in June, I think. What was it? June or July. And then we just had our next phase call. As I'm filming this, today is what, the 25th of September. So the 24th of September. And throughout basically summer, she's like, yeah, I did okay. I stuck with it and I lost a pound. And I'm like, okay, hey, we didn't even just maintain, we lost a little bit of weight, which in her case, like that was one of the goals, which is great. Awesome. Okay. But it kind of sucks feeling like, oh, I put in all this work and I only lost a pound. And a lot of people are in that position where it's like, oh, the scale's telling me I didn't do shit. Okay. But let's be honest, the scale sucks. It doesn't tell you the whole story. So yeah, let's learn from Amy a little bit. Okay. So she, again, only lost that 1 pound, but she worked out every single week. Okay. She kept her nutrition relatively good while enjoying the summer. Like her girls are competitive swimmers. So she goes to see them all the time and travels. And she's not exactly in a perfect environment to eat super duper clean 24/7, 365, like most people. So she did her best with the things we've been working on. Okay. And right now she's currently dealing with menopausal symptoms and waiting on HRT, because her provider and her figured that that is the best next step forward for her to help with symptoms and things. But right now, she's really not feeling that great overall, which again, a lot of people are in that position where they're feeling these menopausal symptoms. Maybe they don't sleep well. Maybe they're having trouble regulating their mood. Maybe they're having night sweats and things like that, or just brain fog all day and they're just not feeling great. Okay. This is some of the stuff she's been dealing with. But because she stayed with it and because we took body measurements, we were able to use what's known as the Navy method or the Navy SEAL method to get more numbers that matter, okay, like body fat percentage, lean body mass, and fat mass. So even though she only lost that 1 pound, it turns out she lost 3.2% of her body fat, which is a big number. Okay. 3.2%, like 1% of your body fat lost is gigantic in as far as we're talking when it comes to benefits when you have a significant amount of weight to lose. Every percentage is big, big, big. She also, to put this in perspective, lost 7.1% or 7.1 pounds of body fat mass. So even though she only lost 1 pound, she lost 7.1 pounds of fat. But what the heck? Like, why wouldn't that show 7 down? She also gained 6.1 pounds of lean body mass, basically muscle. And she was able to increase her strength in all of her lifts because she stayed consistent. She stuck with it. Okay. So just know if you stay consistent with it, if you do the right things most of the time, good things are happening, even if it doesn't show on the scale. So let's all say this one time: screw the scale. It is just one piece of data, just one. Collect a bunch of data points so you have an honest reflection of your efforts. It will keep you on track to get the results that you actually want. Because you better believe if you right now, based on where you're at, if your goal is to lose body fat and gain muscle and you stayed exactly the same weight, but you had the same results where you lost 7 pounds of fat, gained 6 pounds of muscle, you would feel like a completely different person. You would look a lot different. You would feel amazing compared to the beginning result, like where you were at currently. So just know that the scale, those numbers, it's nice to see them, but it's not the end all be all. Chase the right things, chase the numbers that matter. Like for most people, decreasing body fat and increasing lean muscle, because that's going to lead you to get the results that you actually want, which is a little bit deeper of a discussion, because this is something that I talk with people a lot where they come to me and they're like, listen, I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm like, awesome. What's that 20 pounds going to get you? And that's where it's like, what do you mean? Okay. So if you do nothing else from this podcast, try this thing I'm about to teach you, which is the why. Like you could call it the why experiment or the why uh, method, but basically say, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds. Why? Well, I want to feel better in my clothes. Okay. Why? Well, I don't like feeling that way when I'm at work. Like I like feeling confident. I'm like, okay, why do you want to feel confident? Well, I want to be good at my job. I want to make more money. Okay, why do you want to do that? Well, I want to provide for my family. Okay, why do you want to do that? Well, I want to be a role model and I want to be the breadwinner. I want to feel like my kids look up to me and I am a role model for them. And I'm like, bingo, that's what we're going for. Okay, that's the real reason why we're on this journey. Okay, so again, if you do nothing else after this podcast, just run yourself through the real why and come to your actual why, not, oh, I want to lose a couple of pounds. That's surface level stuff. Figure out the real why and chase whatever the metrics are that get you to that why, not these surface level things that don't get us anything that we actually want. All right. So, on that note, if you guys want that next level of help, I got you. I got free stuff. I'm always happy to hand it out. So my latest free thing is my ultimate guide to get fit over 40. It's a 3-step method to get you fit, basically just walk you through exactly what to do. If you're over the age of 40 and you're busy and you really just want to make a change, this is exactly what you need. So again, you can get it for free. Just click away in the comments, the description, in the show notes, wherever you're watching or listening. It will be down there. You can get your free guide today. It's got the toned in 20 workouts in there. It's got the high protein recipe book in there, suggested foods. It's got YouTube follow along workouts. It's got everything that you need. And along with that, if you're not already in the Fit40 family, what are you doing? Okay. There are a lot of shitty Facebook groups out there that are just full of scammers and just loaded with people giving their 2 cents that doesn't actually help you. The Fit40 family is the opposite of that. It's just a bunch of people sharing recipes, cheering each other on, and making sure that we're all going to achieve the goals that we set out to achieve. And I'm always there to help you with daily tips, weekly trainings, and monthly challenges like the boot camp. Okay, so if you're not already in the Fit40 family, go ahead and do it. And if you're going to get your copy of the Ultimate Guide, just join the Fit40 family. And in when you sign up for the Fit40 family, you get a free copy of the guide. So you could kill two birds with one stone. And if you already have those, or you're like, listen, I don't need that. I just want the help and I want something specific to me. That's what the strategy call is for. Because if you're a podcast listener and if you're in, or if you're in the Fit40 family, or you're on the email list, I want to give you guys that next level of help. So you have access to a totally free strategy call where you and me hop on the phone. I'll give you a free roadmap for success. Make sure that it's exactly what you need. It's not some cookie cutter thing where I'm like, all right, here are the workouts I gave the last 10 people. All right, here's the habits I get. Here's your calories that probably won't work. No, we're going to talk about exactly what you need and what those missing pieces are. And I'll just give you the roadmap. Okay. No sales pitch guarantee. You heard it here. I guarantee I will not pitch you. I just want to help. All right. So on that note, thank you guys for listening through all the way. I hope that you got a lot out of it, and I hope that you do that why exercise. But until next time, I'll see you later. Go kick some ass.